What is up, everybody? Today we got another Battleground Blitz video for you guys. Because I'm going to keep this content going because it's not really out there. And I want to touch quickly on how these bases work and just give you a quick explanation because I think a lot of people don't know what's going on and how to optimize these game modes, okay? These are node-based. I'm going to touch on the node-based maps, okay? So the flag-carrying maps and the temple and to extent Silvershard Mines are unchanged. Silvershard, I'll probably make one note on it there, but there's not really anything to really learn there. But on the node maps, there for sure is, okay? So I'm going to explain how these timers work and optimal strategies, and most importantly, 3 mistakes that I have noticed so many people doing that will probably make you a better player in this case if you can knock down these different things, okay? So when it comes to the timers, how these timers work. So you're going to see timers on the right side of your map. This is an add-on here that I'll explain in a second. But when you cap a flag over, so if you right-click a flag and it turns over after 4 seconds, it needs 30 seconds to become yours, to cap over. Okay, once it caps over, it stays yours for 45 seconds. That's what these timers are. All right, and once that 45 seconds is over, it takes about another 3 to 5 seconds for the flag to kind of swap back, and then you can recap it again. This add-on down here is called capping. It's an add-on people have been using since vanilla that kind of shows when a node is going to cap over and who is currently winning with the current bases that are held. So I recommend this add-on. There might be better ones out there. If anyone knows a better one, please let me know, because this one is not designed for Blitz. Blitz caps over in 30 seconds. Actual BGs are a minute. So once this thing hits 30 seconds, that's when I know that it's going to cap over. So that's just what I've been using, and it works. So I'm always keeping an eye out for when those are capping over. It's important to know. All right, so now that you got how the timers work, what are people doing wrong? What are possibly you doing wrong that you could do better? So a couple things here I want to note. I'll put the right over here so you can see the game. Number one, staying at a base too long, okay? So like I said, 30 seconds to cap over. It takes time for people to get from one base to another, and it takes 4 seconds to cap. I'm getting better and better with timing this, and you will with practice as well, is kind of getting a good gauge how long it takes to get from one base to another. I should have actually done that before, if I can actually time it, how long it takes to get from one AB base to another. I would imagine probably on the ends of like 10 to 15 seconds, but typically my gauge is if a node is going to cap over in 10 seconds. I'm looking at my timer, it says 40, let's say it's 44 seconds for lumber mill. I look around, I see nobody. I stealth check. If you don't have battleground enemies, that's this add-on here, you can click on a frame. You can click on all the rogues, all the ferals, all the boomies. If you click on everybody and they are at another base, you know there's no stealth people nearby you just leave that base, man. Okay, do not sit at that base till it caps over. It's a waste of time because the flag's going to cap over, and now you're going to be sitting there for potentially 45 seconds. There are cases where, like Deep Wind, when you have enough bases and people are spread out, that you can kind of float in between and then go right back to that base when it caps over. But for a lot of cases, you don't need to sit that base. You can go to another base and come back in time. Okay, so that's kind of what I've been doing a lot of the times, and especially if you're in a duo, you can kind of communicate this. Maybe 2 of you are watching these 2 bases and you're just capping them back and forth, and you kind of run the game that way. So yeah, keep an eye on these timers. So when you cap over, so like this Davis is done in 20 seconds. I have a teammate there. I know he's going to hold it for at least 20 seconds. So I'm going to leave him. Okay. And if you have a good feeling that your teammate's there and he's going to hold it long enough, great. If you're not confident in your teammate, sometimes it happens. But I think as rating gets up and you start playing with your normal ratings and people get a hold of what's going on and how to spin flags better, I think you'll be able to hopefully be able to trust them better. But I am constantly moving from one base to another, finding open bases. And this is a great example of why I'm making this video. How many open bases that I cap? I think I capped like 4 or 5 this game, and most of them are uncontested. Like no one's there because I'm the one looking at the timers. They're not looking at these timers. They don't know when these bases they're swapping. Okay, so this goes for a Ratha base and a Deep Wind, obviously, like I was saying. Secondly is not proactively switching the bases. When you're watching these timers tick down, that's when you already know. I capped over lumber mill there. Lumber mill's going to cap over in 10 seconds. I had a teammate there. I know it's good. We're out. I'm looking at the next base. I saw gold mine dropping next because I saw people here. Not worth my time over there. Farm was capping over, but mine's already capped over first. I want to push farm or gold mine first, so I'm going to drop down over here. He actually does get the cap, so I was a little bit late to the party, but I actually watched this guy, so he did not stealth check. I capped the base over this. And it looks like we actually had another hunter that worked as a great distraction over it. So I cap it. I have 2 teammates here. I'm out. I'm not sitting here. Okay, I'm going over the next one. Farm just got uncapped. I'm heading over to farm next, and just constantly rotating like this, because you need to be proactively doing it. Because if you can get ahead of the the pack, ahead of the other team in terms of rhythm. Like, I'm a little bit slower on here because this guy's just obviously guarding, but I'm confident as a 1v1 class that I can actually get it. You can clone cap. You get their trinket. If you get just a little tidbit, if you do have a 5-second CC like that, you just get their trinket, you kite, you run away, you don't fight, you don't need to fight. If you can 1v1 them and kill them in that time, sure, go for it. But for me, I just tend to CCing them. I actually go for a root cap. I baited him away, but it capped over too quick. I wasn't looking at the timers. I guess you get screwed over here twice with just missing the cap. But yeah, so anyway, I'm off to the next base. I don't waste my time going out to the third one. Okay, I'm not going to sit there and fight that guy because it's a waste of time. I'm sitting at that base doing nothing. I'm going to peel out of the fight as fast as possible, push to the next one. This one I got super close to, man. I cast clone on him. It was a DR clone. Actually, I don't think it mattered, right? No, just missed it on there. But it is what it is. But just not wasting your time at bases. Another example of wasting your time at a base is if there's a class that you cannot cap on. Sometimes like mages are pretty good with it. If you have if they have blink stun and they have trinket block, and you're just gonna be sitting there for so long. Adaptation is surprisingly really good in this game mode for certain classes, especially if you have a second out, like a bubble for ret. You're able to get out. So I'm gonna go for a clone cap here. Actually, did I get this one here? Okay, ooh, just missed it again, dude. Three bases in a row. So here, not gonna waste my time. There's 3 people there, including 1 healer. I'm gonna try to peel the base as long as I can. I end up effing that up, so I'm out. It's not gonna waste my time here. I'm trying to peel out, look for the next base to push to. It looks like LM got uncontrolled. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not the first one at LM, so I'm gonna actually just try to peel people on my way over there. I think I get a re-stealth here. The stealth breaks, unfortunately. Root them there. I'm hoping that the guy behind up there caps it over on there. Actually, they already did cap it over on LM. So, no. Fun fact: you can actually talk to other people on the other team if they are the same faction as you in say chat. It's kind of funny. So I'll just end up peeling these people, make sure they weren't going to get there in time. He knocks it off. Base caps over in 10 seconds. No reason to stay there. So I'm out again. Okay, so that's just what I mean by don't waste time. If you feel like you're never going to cap this over. The only case I'm going to say this: if you are a DPS and you can keep 3 people at a base, or maybe a DPS and you can keep a healer and a DPS at one base, or you're a guard, you're a tank, and you can keep 3 people at a base, that is worth chilling there and spinning a flag. You are spinning the flag while keeping 3 people out of the rest of the game. That's almost half the team. Okay, that case, if you can make 3 people waste their time, I think it's worth wasting your time. That's kind of my little gauge on it. But yeah, so that's what I go for in terms of wasting time. So those are 3 big strategies. I think those are such little things that if you just become more aware of, if you're not aware already, you're going to become a much better Blitz player just like that. Actually, I only got 3 caps on this one, but able to kind of cap over these flags so fast, man. And like I said, clearly not everybody knows this because I am free capping so many bases. So that is it for those node maps. I do want to touch on EOTs. I think I have an EOTs match in here. I'm playing a poker here. Cool. All right. So in terms of EOTs, I do want to touch on something here. Okay. So if you guys are not aware of how EOTs works, yeah, come on. So the EOTs map, how this works is off the bat, it's always, I believe it's always FR and DR. Those are two of the nodes that open up. The other 2 nodes are blocked off. If a node is yellow on your map, you cannot cap it. Do not go there. Okay. I've seen people still going there. So off the bat, it's always going to be these diagonal 2 and then the flag. Okay, how this works is those 2 bases stay active until the flag is capped. So theoretically, and the most ideal way to win is actually to get both bases and control the flag at the same time, and you just turtle at those 2 bases. Half your team at one, half your team at the other, maybe a little more on one because you have a flag there. But that's it. You hold that flag, you can hold those 2 bases and the flag and win very quickly. You can win the game in probably 4 minutes or something like 4 or 5 minutes. So that is the ideal strategy if you can do it. But in games that are a bit more close, I wanna note this. This is actually cool. I think I swoop him here. I started playing swoop up. I thought it was so funny. He jumps up, I just throw him back down. I wanted to knock him, but he was on DR. But anyway, the other thing I do want to make note in this map that is very important. In games that are closer, I think more often than not, you're going to have one team capping one base, one capping the other, and then someone's got the flag. In those cases, you got to keep an eye on the flag, okay? Because if the flag is about to cap, you need to start moving to the other base. So like I was doing duos with a hunter here in these games, and we were in voice, so I was able to kind of tell him, you know, I was being vocal about it, like, all right, let's the flag's about to cap, let's go to the next base. So we were going to the next base before, like, right as it switched. So like there's no point of sitting at this base, because then it doesn't matter if they cap it. Like they're going to cap the flag, and that's it, and it's over. So you know, keep an eye for when the flag is going to cap. Like if your teammate's going to cap it, then you should already be pushing to the next base. I noticed that a lot, that even more so than the other maps. Okay, so just being aware of when the flag's going to cap, and proactively rotating to the opposite base. Anything else I want to add on this map? Flags. Yes. Oh, one last thing. Okay, this is important in strategy wise. I learned my lesson. I mean, I kind of effed up. I'll own my mistakes. Like I was playing in a game, and they were telling me not to cap a flag, and I did, because I thought I could just keep speed capping it, but it wasn't the right idea. If you have a lead and the game is like, especially if it's like within 1,000 rating, you could do this from any point if you want. But if you have one base and they have one base, and you have the flag and you have a lead, you can theoretically hold that base the entire game and never cap the flag. You do not need to cap the flag. The only time you really need to cap the flag is if you're behind or they're about to take your base. Okay, so kind of do what you want in that. I'm not sure is it actually better to never cap the flag? Potentially. You are going to get a much longer game out of that, and a much less interesting game. But it is definitely a possibility that you could just cap one base and have the flag and sit the flag at that base and turtle the entire game, and you win. You just cap the flag at the end. So that is just something to note. So if you do have a nice lead, just hold the flag in the base, and you actually don't need to do anything else. Everybody turtles at one base, and you win the game. Whether that's good gameplay or not, I don't know, but that's just how it is. So yeah, that's all I want to note on I think EOTS, and I'll just want to touch lastly on Silvershard, okay? Because I know Silvershard really is really unchanged, but one important fact about Silvershard you have to learn is that there is 3 nodes and 8 people, okay? Do not there's going to be some people that are forced in the team fight, but if you are playing a class that has high mobility, that has high CC, and you're just not you're not like a team fight pad kind of class, you should constantly be pushing those 2 carts, because most of the time it's going to be a team fight on one node, the other 2 are going to be free. And unlike RBGs, there are a lot less people, okay? So those off carts matter more than the team fight map. If ideal strategy, especially if you have a tank, you can just have the tank sit at one base, sit at that team fight, and just kind of waste everybody's time, and you just cap all the other bases free. So just be a note of that, and you should constantly be pushing on those off carts. The off carts, there's more off carts than the team fight cart. You know, it is something to kind of take into consideration, is knowing your role in Blitz. There are some classes that are just not good at peeling, and they're not good at solo capping. So you really can identify your role in terms of like, should I be in the team fight or should I be out pushing out? You know, for example, like mages can be okay, but like affliction locks are great in team fights, but they're not really that great at solo capping. They can maybe fear cap, but they're not that great at it. So you're better off not constantly swapping the bases and kind of just sticking with a team fight in that. So I do want to make note of that, because I am talking about coming from the perspective of a Wrestle Druid or an Evoker, where I'm just constantly super fast and moving around and have all the CC. There are some classes that can't do this stuff. I mean, Warriors are great examples as well. Warriors, they have okay mobility, but they're not like freaking boomy mobility where they can just get out whenever they want. So those cases, identify what you need. And then one last thing I want to conclude on is Battle for Gilneas. Once again, learned my lesson by messing up with this. Don't be a crazy capper in Battle for Gilneas. I did this, and I threw some games. It happens. I was trying to test the waters. I like to experiment. Because unless they have one person, it's a 1v1. But as people get rating, it's almost never going to be a 1v1. They're just effing up big time if they're 1v1ing a base. If there's one single sitting a base. Okay, do not waste your time and constantly do that. Get the team fights in there, and just push accordingly. If you don't try to just ninja, if it's a 1v2, don't waste your time. Don't waste everybody else's time. Do what you got to do to win the game, all right? So that is all I got for y'all today. Hopefully you guys learned something for Blitz. Let me know if you have any questions, or maybe there's something I missed, any strategy stuff, because I'd love to keep learning more stuff about it. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace out.